This 18-year-old teenager murdered his entire family before planning to carry out a school shooting. Nicholas Prosper was born in 2005, the eldest child in a family of 3 siblings living in an 8th-floor apartment in the Lee Bank residential area of Luton, UK. He lived with his mother, Juliana Prosper, and his 2 younger siblings, Kyle, 16, and Giselle, 13. On the surface, this was an ordinary working-class family, with no overt signs foreshadowing a tragedy. However, a pivotal event occurred when Nicholas was just 8 years old. His parents divorced. From that moment, Nicholas changed completely. Once a cheerful, sociable child, he became depressed and withdrawn. No more playtime with friends, no more enthusiasm for school. Nicholas chose to lock himself in his room, tethered to his iPad and a virtual world. At first, his mother, a resilient single woman full of responsibility, thought her son was simply going through a typical teenage psychological crisis. But Nicholas's condition did not improve. Recognizing something was amiss, Juliana sought help from child mental health services, but Nicholas adamantly refused any form of assistance. From that point onward, Nicholas embarked on the darkest phase of his psyche, a journey no one could have predicted would lead to a horrifying crime. From ages 16 to 18, Nicholas Prosper became fully immersed in a dark virtual world, the severity of which neither his family nor friends truly grasped. He spent most of his time alone in his room, but what's terrifying is that the content he consumed was no longer mere entertainment. Far from satisfying mere curiosity, Nicholas meticulously researched and analyzed, as if studying for something. He particularly idolized serial killers, including Adam Lanza, the perpetrator of the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre. Even more chilling, Nicholas didn't just see Lanza as a role model. He vowed to surpass his achievements to become the world's most notorious school shooter. Nicholas's descent didn't stop there. He joined pedophile forums on social media, where depraved individuals exchanged horrific ideas and images. Nicholas actively spoke out, promoting ideologies that endorsed sexual relations with children, even going so far as to claim that having sex with a child's corpse is a privilege. He became so obsessed that he developed a perverse attachment to a fictional character from a video game, Clementine, a young girl from The Walking Dead. Clementine became a divine figure in Nicholas's warped mind. He called her the Chosen One, his guiding light, even proclaiming, "I am the one chosen by Clementine. I am guided as Christians are guided by Jesus Christ." Nicholas could no longer distinguish between fiction and reality. And from there, a plan, a mission, formed in his mind to transform himself into a blood-soaked legend in human history. Nicholas Prosper chose September 13th, 2024, a Friday the 13th, to carry out a massacre at his former primary school in Luton, targeting 4 to 5-year-old children, aiming to kill at least 34 people to surpass the 2007 Virginia Tech shooting. He prepared meticulously, drew detailed school maps, noting classrooms, schedules, and guard positions, designed a signature bright yellow outfit to stand out in headlines, posed as a former student, calling the school to extract information about timetables. Weapons were the biggest challenge. He forged a firearms license, bought a shotgun from an illegal seller in a parking lot, captured on CCTV with a gleeful smile. He wrote a chilling manifesto, 8:40 a.m. Leave home with a shotgun, over 30 rounds. 9 a.m. Break the door, yell, robbery. Get down. Then kill teachers, students. End by suiciding in front of students to be immortalized. Beneath the classroom sketch, he scrawled, "Kill everyone." Every word, every drawing exuded a loss of humanity. The plan came perilously close to reality. At dawn on September 13th, 2024, the 8th-floor apartment in Luton was still quiet until a deafening blast echoed through. It was Nicholas's test shot. He fired into a teddy bear on his bed, wanting to gauge the destructive power of the double-barreled shotgun he'd bought the day before. But the sound woke his mother, Juliana, throwing his carefully laid massacre plan into chaos. Juliana walked to her son's room and knocked on the door, and Nicholas panicked. He flung open the door, lunged at his mother with a knife. A struggle ensued. She tried to defend herself with her hands. After multiple stabs, Juliana collapsed in the hallway. Nicholas didn't stop. He drew the shotgun and fired into her head at point-blank range. The 48-year-old woman died instantly, becoming the first victim of her own son's terror plot. it wasn't over. His 13-year-old sister, Giselle, opened her bedroom door, stepping out, unaware of the horror unfolding. Nicholas shot at her. The first shot grazed her head, wounding her severely as she fled to the living room, hiding under a table. Nicholas approached, crouched down, and fired a second shot into her face, killing Giselle on the spot. The killer wasn't done. His 16-year-old brother, Kyle, also awoke, rushing to the kitchen to grab a knife for self-defense. He stabbed his brother over 100 times into his arms, legs, neck, chest, any unprotected area. As Kyle, exhausted, tried to crawl down the hallway, Nicholas fired a final shot into his head, ending the life of his third victim. The apartment was now drenched in blood, but Nicholas didn't pause out of guilt. He staged a ritualistic scene. He placed a book titled How to Kill Your Family on his mother's body as a grotesque proclamation. Then he turned on the camera, recording a final video about Clementine, the game character he revered as a deity, proclaiming, "I am the chosen one, chosen by Clementine. I am guided as Christians are guided by Jesus Christ." At 5:33 a.m., Nicholas stepped out of the apartment, carrying the shotgun, knives. In his mind, the plan to shoot up the primary school at 9 a.m. remained intact. Security cameras captured him smiling, riding the elevator with weapons in his backpack, confidently leaving the crime scene. But neighbors had heard the gunshots and Kyle's groans. One knocked on the door, glimpsed the horror inside, and called 999. It took 20 minutes for police to arrive. By then, Nicholas was gone. On his way to the school, he hid in bushes near the residential area, waiting for the school gates to open. While waiting, he uploaded the Clementine video to YouTube, a desperate manifesto blending delusional worship and hatred for his family. But police sirens began echoing through the neighborhood. Nicholas panicked. "They know. They found the bodies. They know my plan," he thought. Fearing capture before achieving his grand school shooting dream, Nicholas gave up. At 6:22 a.m., he emerged from the bushes, waving to surrender to a passing police car. Bystanders thought he was just a quirky teen in a cosplay outfit, unaware he had just slaughtered his family and nearly killed dozens of children. Nicholas Prosper, the killer who murdered his entire family and nearly executed a school massacre, raised his hands to surrender to police on the street as if it were a game. He was taken to the station, cold, silent, unresisting. In his cell, before a mental health worker, Nicholas unexpectedly confessed the entire plan, from killing his mother and siblings to his intent to slaughter dozens of primary school children. Not only that, he wrote a 4-page handwritten letter detailing his depraved thoughts. "My mother ruined everything. If not for the test shot, I would have completed the plan. She's a stupid..." In the letter, Nicholas showed no remorse, only regret for not killing more. He called himself the angel chosen by Clementine. "I am the embodiment of purification." A remorseless, radicalized monster devoid of humanity. In September 2024, Nicholas was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life. Throughout the investigation, he refused to cooperate, responding no comment to every police question. In February 2025, just weeks before the formal trial, Nicholas unexpectedly pleaded guilty. A full trial was no longer necessary. In March 2025, at the final sentencing hearing, throughout the session, he stared at the floor, showing no remorse. The judge described Nicholas as a cold-blooded, emotionless individual incapable of remorse. This was not an impulsive act, but a meticulously planned conspiracy over months. Despite suggestions that Nicholas may have undiagnosed autism spectrum disorder, the court dismissed any psychological mitigating factors. The final sentence: life imprisonment, with no possibility of parole before age 67. The case is closed, but questions linger. How many other children out there are silently being transformed in the same way? When the internet becomes a breeding ground for depraved saints, and isolation is no longer a private matter, crime doesn't begin with violence but in a locked bedroom door.